Hey everybody, welcome back to Two Wheel Disasters. Today we're going to be doing some maintenance on my CT70. Let's take a look at what's going on with her. So a little bit of backstory on this bike. It's just thrown together with a bunch of stuff I had laying around. I had quite a few of these bikes and pieces and parts were plentiful. So I had a frame laying around. We threw a 125 Chinese motor on it. Cheap wiring harness, and the only real money we spent on this thing was tires. They were the cheapest ones I could find. They're way too small, but they do the job. But that's actually one of the things we're going to work on is our back tire. Picked up a root or stick or something, popped the tube in it, so we'll get the tire off, get a new tube in there. The chain needs adjusting while we got it apart. And one odd thing with these, the fuel tanks on these bikes, it has a solo petcock that used to go to the carburetor and have a dual inlet. And when you do an aftermarket carburetor, you have to split the fuel lines to a single selector and then up to your carb. Well, I never put a fuel filter on it, so the carb keeps gumming up every couple of rides. So let's put a cut in line a fuel filter. And while we got it apart, we'll take the carb off, clean it all out because it's been a while and she's starting to break up under heavy acceleration. So one of the jets is clogged. No big deal. But yeah, it's been pretty much just a fun yard bike. We ride it around almost every day, but it's time to get some work on it. It's been very neglected, very abused, but it's a lot of fun. So let's do a little bit of work, keep her riding. Alright everybody, so the first thing we're going to do is get our carburetor off and get it broken down, so that way we can get it in the ultrasonic cleaner and let it start cooking while we put a new tube in the tire. So let's get it broken down. I already pinched our fuel line off, so let's start removing fuel lines. Our carb slide, 2 bolts, and she's off. Alright, just like that, carb's off. Let's get her to the bench and get it cleaned up. Alright, let's get this carb broken down. They're really simple with these carbs. Everything's a Phillips. Nice Chinese special. But it does the job, works great. Does what we need it to do for this bike. What I always like to do is have a mat down. Just something to, in case you drop anything or any little spills. It keeps everything where you want it to be. The main reason we're putting a fuel filter on this bike is because we keep having issues with it gumming this carburetor up. And that tank is just old, seen a lot better days, but it came with the frame when I started putting everything together, and it's just a woods bike. It really doesn't bother me too much that it needs work every so often. So, but hopefully a new fuel filter will help catch a lot more of that junk. When I break these down, I always try to take the float out and just mind where your needle is. Some of them have a spring on them, some just have the tab. This one's got a little C-clip, not sure how well you can see it. But yeah, a little clip that will disappear on you when you try to pull it out of your float. She's looking pretty good, but looks like our pilot jet is probably clogged. Just I can tell by the way it's running, it's starting to. With being such a small motor and small carburetor, it does not take much for these jets. It does not take much for these jets to get any little piece of debris and they're done for. So, break them down. Run a piece of wire or whatever you have that's small enough through everything. Some compressed air helps clean it all up. And then in the bath it goes. So these are really simple. It's just pilot, idle. Being a slide carburetor, there's no vacuum, there's no funny business. So let's get in the ultrasonic cleaner and let it cook while we start playing with our tire. So taking the tire off these bikes is actually really simple. All you have to do is loosen the rear adjusters, take out your drum brake adjustment, and then your brake hold stay. Take your axle out, pop the chain off, and the wheel comes off. And Honda was really interesting with these bikes is it's a two-piece hub, so you can take the hoops off of the hub itself, and then the wheel itself is a two-piece also. So 4 bolts take that off, and then the whole wheel splits apart. So let's get it done. Alright, wheels off. One thing to make sure you note with your spacers, you have one thick spacer and one thin one. Make sure they're on the right sides, otherwise it will not be centered. Alright, let's get this wheel split apart, get a new tube in it. So first thing we're going to do is knock our 4 bolts out that hold our hub on. And they have a set, like a holder in the back of the hub, so you don't need a holdback on them. It's pretty nice. Alright, now that your hub's split from your wheels, we can put that off to the side. Make sure you get all your nuts so you don't lose anything. Then we have 4 10 mils. Break them free and you'll be able to take the hoops right off. Now I say right off, but anybody that's worked on one of these bikes knows if they're the original tires, you will fight them up and down, left and right, and you probably need a Sawzall to get the tires cut free. But after you do it the first time, everything loosens up and the tire breaks free. You can wire wheel them and clean them up, and it shouldn't give you too much trouble after that. just like that, your hubs are apart. Take your tube out. Alright, and just like that, new tube's in. Let's get it back on the bike. Alright guys, now installing the tire, pretty much rinse and repeat the same way it came off. Get it up in there, make sure you got your spacers in. Get your axle started. Wrestle it through your drum. Get your fat spacer. Alright, tire is on. That simple. Alright, just like that. All new tire, back on, chains set nice and tight. A little bit of slop, nothing bad. Brakes got just a little bit of drag. And, alright, let's get the carburetor back on. See if she'll make some noise. Alright, well the carb's all done cooking in our ultrasonic cleaner. I gave it some time to let everything cool down. And all of our jets look great. Everything's nice and clear again. Let's get it back together, get it on the bike. Alright, and just like that. Pretty shiny new carburetor again. Let's get her back on, see how she runs. One of the things you can't beat is the simplicity of these old trail bikes. They're designed almost for kids to work on, and they're just one of the best things to learn, in my opinion, because they're so simple. Everything is just right here out in the open. There's hardly any electrical on them. They either work or they don't, from what I've seen. And the ones that don't work, they will. That would have been bad. You guys see that? The gasket tried to fall off on me. You stay in there. So anybody that's had one of these bikes before, I'm sure you're probably wondering why those stupid bars are in the way that you have. Well, my daughter loves to ride on this thing with me, and she's still too short to put her feet down on the rear pegs. So she sits up front, and I didn't want her legs to get caught on the exhaust. So this is actually the front cage guard that we chopped the bottom of it off because it didn't fit the Chinese bite motor anyway. So we took them flip-flop sides, chopped the bottoms of them off, gave them a nice little bend, and now she can put her feet right here. And she absolutely loves riding around the yard with me. It's one of her favorite things to do. Alright, let's get a fuel filter cut into this. See if she runs. Alright guys, how many kicks do you think before she starts? Keys on. I'm going to go with 3. That's her usual go-to. But let's see. Oh. 1. 2. Oh, so close to 3. There it is, on the 4th. Alright guys, well, hope you like this quick little maintenance video. Stick around. Got a little teaser for the next 2 projects that are coming up. I think everybody's really going to enjoy them. Catch you guys on the next one. Let's get them running, keep them on the road. See ya. Well everybody, thanks for sticking around. Here's a quick little teaser of the next 2 projects. Hope to see you guys in the next couple videos. I think you're really going to like these ones.